Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw for Insider Travel Report. I'm here in London. I'm here in Kensington, and I'm here with David Tozo, who is with Top Tasting Tours. We've just taken a hiking and tasting tour in Kensington, and we're going to talk about that and also about his company, which is really kind of an interesting company that gives you all different kinds of food tours in London. You'll find out about that and more as we hear the traffic on Insider Travel Report. David, first of all, thank you very much for this wonderful tour. It was amazing.
It was a great pleasure to actually take you around Royal London and Kensington High Street.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what we did. We started here at the Kensington, a hotel, and we walked quite a bit in these incredible neighborhoods that are just so beautiful. But talk about what we did.
So we took a walk through Kensington, which is a royal borough, the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea. And this is where the William and Kate, our famous royal princes and princesses, live in Kensington Palace. And so the walk finally took us to Kensington Palace, and we had a fabulous high tea in the grounds of Kensington Palace in a 300-year-old tea room.
Yeah, and it was beautiful. The Orangery, I think it's called, right?
Yeah, the Orangery was built by Queen Anne, for Queen Anne, and it's a beautiful way to experience both royal events and royal progress. Princess Diana, of course, lived in the area as well. We looked at her beautiful statue in the sunken garden, and then we had this fabulous high tea in Kensington itself.
And then we walked back here. We're back in Kensington, but it was an amazing walk all the way through. And you pointed out some great things along the way, if I recall. Oh, well, we stopped at the Gore Hotel, right?
Yeah, the Gore is a boutique hotel. It's right down the street from here, and it's where the Rolling Stones had a fabulous experience where they had a cake throwing contest, and they caused so much mayhem they had to pay all the dry cleaning bills, and it's immortalized in a little video which we had a look at when we were in the cocktail bar, where we also do master classes where you can learn how to make everything from a Manhattan to a whiskey sour.
Yeah, well, that was a lovely bar, and there's all, of course, photos of the Rolling Stones around this bar. Although we had to go downstairs to find the cake throwing photo.
That's exactly right. Yes, and this is typical of London. These little boutique experiences, Victorian or even earlier. I mean, we saw things going back to the beginning of time, almost in the time of 1066 and all that. Hyde Park is 1,000 years old.
And then we were also past the Royal Albert Hall, which was tell us a little bit about why that exists. Right?
So Albert was married to Queen Victoria. They had 9 children. He died really young at 41. And the hall and the golden statue of Albert were put up in his memory in 1877.
Wow, and so it's still there, and then across was a statue of him from there, and then you get into the Kensington Gardens, right?
Yeah, Kensington Gardens was created for the palace. The palace was built in 1694 for William and Mary, and we know about the William and Mary colleges, but it's most famous for being the home to the dear departed Princess Diana.
Right, and so we went through there. We had a place where she's commemorated. So really it was a fantastic little look at this wonderful neighborhood of London, which I've been to a number of times, but never in the same way as you showed it.
No, because I think when you go on trips, you need to research a little bit before you go, because it's a little hidden gem. It's very close to central London, but it's parkland, it's beautifully sculpted, and the flowers in the spring, come in the spring or the summer, it's absolutely magical.
Yeah, well, we're not here in the spring. We're here in January, so it's a little bit different. Now, this isn't the only tour that Top Tasting Tours does. Tell us a little bit about some of the other tours that you offer.
So the clue is in the name tasting, so everything we do has a element of food involved in it. So everything from walking on the path of the Thames and tasting 6 different British foods to going to Hampton Court, which is where Henry VIII used to live, and having a lovely high tea by the river there, to go to Greenwich where the Bond films were made and having a tasting sweet spots tour of the market, or maybe you want to go down to Brick Lane, which is where all the curry houses are. Wow. So much choice.
That's a lot of tasting down at Curry Lane. I can imagine as we were going by, I saw a lot of ethnic foods. You have Thai, you have Indian, you have all kinds of things here.
Yeah, exactly. And what we're trying to do is to find the best spots to take in a taste of London and also to learn some interesting stories about the fabulous history of 1,000 years of the London town.
Yeah, well, you and your partner, you also have other tasting tours around Europe, right?
Yeah, so my partner, Laurent, is Belgian, and he is from generations of foodies. I mean, they have a hotel in Belgium, and they actually have these lovely tours of the south of France, Provence, or maybe you want to go on a vineyard tasting tour in Bordeaux, or maybe in the centre to see where the popes used to live in the centre of France. Or also we did some tours in Holland recently. Okay. And we
have cheese and things like that?
Well, more than that. They like their beer in Holland. So.
That's true. I remember. I forgot about that part.
And we're expanding all the time, so different European destinations. And every time we do tours, we try to make them personal, specific to individuals and individual tastes and budgets.
Well, you did that with the tea. It was a great tea. It's a classic tea with... I couldn't figure out which tea to get. I did get, I think it was Royal Velvet or something, which was a little bit red tea, although some people just went with English breakfast. And yes, we'll have scones and jam and clotted cream, which is, you can't go wrong there, right?
Yeah, I mean, that is a quintessential afternoon tea, but people like to go out for their fish and chips. They want to have the Scotch eggs, they want to have a sausage roll, maybe they want a glass of sparkling wine. And that's something we also do. We have a great relationship with so many suppliers. People love to come to Harrods, of course, which is, again, associated with Diana, and maybe have some champagne in the Moët Bar, which is, again, very, very exclusive. And if you're looking for any sort of tastings and options, if you look at Harrods, there are 24 different food outlets and 1 million square feet of selling space.
Well, that's always my favorite part of Harrods, of the food hall, so they're amazing. Now, we go out to about 127,000 travel advisors in the U.S. What would anything else you would tell them about your company?
The only thing to say is that in the last few days, we were selected to join a very exclusive program, which is called the Concierges program. This is the Clé d'Or. So when you go to a 5-star hotel, you'll notice that there will be these cross keys on the lapel of the concierge. And we're an associate of that program now. So when we get guests that have come in to, say, the Dorchester or the Ritz, and they say, where can we get a fine tutored experience, curated experience, then Top Tasting Tours is the top of their list.
Fantastic. Now, where can our travel advisors go to learn more about Top Tasting Tours, the website, everything else?
The website is toptastingtours.com, and that's the first place to go. Also on YouTube, if you Google Top Tasting Tours, you're going to see some interesting videos of all the tours we operate.
Well, you showed me some of your videos earlier, and hopefully we'll show you a few of those as well as my footage from this wonderful tour we just took. David, I want to thank you. It was a fascinating tour, a tour that I've never done in Kensington. I've done food tours in a lot of different places, but now I know something special about Kensington and Kensington Gardens, and certainly about another great place to have tea in London.
It was a great pleasure hosting you, and come again soon. London's a great place.
Absolutely. I intend to be back soon. I'm usually here once a year, hopefully more than that. I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.